Here we have a Dell G Series G3 3590 with that needs a new keyboard. So this is the new part. It's the Palmrest with the replacement keyboard already pre-installed. These keyboards are embedded into the plastic of the Palmrest, so you have to buy the whole Palmrest to be able to replace the keyboard itself. So this is the new part, and this is the bottom here of the G3. This is the old keyboard here, and I'm just going to show you the process of replacing this. I already removed some of the bottom screws here, so I just have to loosen up these on the bottom and then separate out the base from the Palmrest. Okay, so literally we have to take everything off out of the inside of this machine to be able to replace the Palmrest, because everything is seated on the Palmrest side of the device. So we'll take the battery out, unplug that, and remove it. Two screws holding the battery in place. Unplug these cables, these ribbon cables. So a daughter board on this side, so we'll have to unplug this cable here as well, and then remove the screws to take this board out. So we can take this one out since it's not plugged into anything else. Pops out just like that. This is a smaller NVMe SSD. This is the NVMe SSD, so this is the hard drive. The newer ones are tiny little things. It's just the size of a Wi-Fi card. So we'll put these all together. This is the Wi-Fi antenna here, so we'll take that out. We have take the whole thing out like that. This is the hard drive. This is another hard drive slot for SATA drives. So there isn't any in this device. You can see there's nothing under here. So this is just a holder for where the SATA hard drive would go in. And then this is the NVMe SSD here. So they just have the NVMe one. So we'll take this one out because we need to remove everything. Just pops out like that. That's it. Nothing there. Just the connector. Moving on to the board here, we have the heatsink, so you have to take that out. This fan is just I'll just lay it here, leave it plugged in, just leave it with the motherboard, and this one here as well. So I'll take that out, just lay it this way, and then we'll unplug the screen connector right here. There we go. And we have to take this cover off. This is like a metal shield for the keeping the charging port in place and the Type-C port secure. There's two screws for that one. Take those out. Slide forward. There's that. So we have the charging port is loose, fan is loose, speaker is disconnected, We can take the speakers out now because everything's been removed on top of it. Take all this out. And so this is the speaker. Okay. Now we can remove you have to lift this cable, it's glued down. So you have to lift it up because it's attached to the motherboard on this side. Take that out. And we'll take the heatsink off. There's 4 and 4 more, so 8 screws altogether for the heatsink. And just pops out. We'll replace the thermal paste when we put it back together. Now the motherboard has some screws holding it down, so we'll take those off to take the board out. And that's it, just 2. I'll lay this over here. I'll lay this over here. This cable comes up with it. So now we have the Wi-Fi antenna here, screen here, and the trackpad. So we'll take that off because if you look at the new part, it doesn't have a trackpad in it. It comes with a spot for the trackpad, so we'll transfer it over when we install it. And now we could lift these pieces of tape out. Pull it out that way. Leave it on so it transfers with it. So it's probably best to remove it on this side because we're gonna stick it back down on the new housing. And that's the trackpad. So we kept the tape. So that's everything there. Now we have to remove the power button. Actually, the new one has a power button. So there it is. So it came with one already. So we'll leave that. We'll separate it out from the screen and put the new piece in. So we'll take these screws out where the hinges are. So we'll just open the computer as if we're just opening it to use it, and then it just separates itself. I have to open it a little bit more. There it goes. I'm going to open it a little bit more so I can easily install the new part. We'll just slide it into place. There. Here. One here. Here. So we'll close it down and continue the process. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. The other one goes here. And the next one goes here. And now we're ready to put everything back in. This is the new keyboard cable and the new cable for the keyboard backlight. So we'll continue the process. So before we go any further on this, I'm just going to hold this up to the old one up to the new one here and try to line up where the cable would be for folding to plug in, and bend that over and just kind of get it ready. So it's kind of in the right spot now. Somewhere around there, I would guess. And then we have to put in the trackpad. So stick that in. And actually I did not need to save these tape pieces because it comes with it. But just in case I saved it. So I'll take these off. And then I'll slide this down. Lift the tape up. Drop it into place. There. And peel the tape. Take that off. I just want to check this to make sure it's in all the way, which it looks good. And also check it to make sure it's clicking. Clicking nicely there. So we should be good there. Now we can put the board back on, I believe. Okay, yes. I already cleaned out the thermal paste on the chips, on the CPU and the GPU and all that. So we put the board back in and secure everything in place here. I'm going to put this bracket back on this side here, just to hold this in place. There we go. Set the fans back into place. Okay, so I'll screw the fans down. One screw here. Make sure this cable is sitting where it's supposed to be seated. So stick it back down before I put the next screw in. We'll plug in the screen cable right here. We'll plug in these cables. This one. Put this board back. Plug it in first before I put it back down, just because it's easier. That's all good. It's all good. Put in the Wi-Fi antenna back in. It weaves over here and then it plugs in right here. I never unplugged the wires, so they're still in place, which is good. It's one little screw that goes right here. Okay. I'm going to put in the speakers back. These two. This one sits right here. And the cable gets woven. So I'm basically just going to follow the weave of the cable and put it back into place. Sit that right there. Plugs in right here. Okay. So I'll put in the secondary hard drive slot. There's nothing in there, but we'll put it back in place. We have to clean off the thermal paste on the heatsink, and then I can reapply fresh. So I'm not going to put the paste on here. I want to put it on the chips. Just a little bit. And when I put the heatsink back down, it will spread out over the top of the chip. Okay, so this part is missing. Oh, I gotta take it off. It comes off. Jesus. Okay. To move it over. There we go. Now it'll fit. That's good. Okay. Put the battery back in. Okay, so the battery's installed and I'm going to plug it in and test it. You can see the keyboard is lit up, so that's a good sign. It means the power button works because that came with the part. And we're just going to test the keys. search bar here. So I'll shut it off and then I will put the bottom screws back on and close everything up. These 4 screws stayed in place. Okay, done and done.